Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari. Jai Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari. Yashodanandana Bhajana Ranjana. Yashodanandana Bhajana Ranjana. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jai Mr. Pad Paramahansa Parudikacharya Ashtotar Tata Sri Srimad His Divine Grace Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai. ISKCON BBT Founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Parudikacharya Ashtotar Tata Sri Srimad His Divine Grace Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnavin Ki Jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Prem Chikaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaura Bhaktavinda Ki Jai. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai. Samaveda Bhaktavinda Ki Jai. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Shri Guru and Gauranga. Narayanam Namaskritya Narang Chaiv Narottamam Deving Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jai Mudiriyet. Before reciting the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is our very means of conquest, we should offer our respectful obeisances unto Lord Narayan, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, unto Narayan Rishi, the supremest human being, unto Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, unto Srila Vyasadeva, the author, and unto Srila Prabhupada, the translator, commentator, and our spiritual master. Nashta Prayesha Badreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavat Yuttama Shloke Bhakti Bhavati Naishtiki. By regular attendance in classes on Srimad Bhagavatam and by rendering devotional service to the pure devotee, all that is inauspicious within the heart is destroyed almost to nil, and loving devotion to the Supreme Lord, who is glorified in transcendental songs, is established as an irrevocable fact. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. All right, next time we do this, we can also offer the mudra, like prayerfully. Okay. On this 15th day of July, 2020 in SanDiego, we're reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, translation and commentary by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Canto 4, The Creation of the Fourth Order. Chapter 24, Chanting the Song Sung by Lord Shiva. Text number 77. Vindate purusho mushmad yadyadichat yasatvaram Madgita Gitat Supritach Tresam Ekavallabhat Vindate Purusho Mushmad Yadyadichat Yasatparam Madgita Gitat Supritach Tresam Ekavallabhat Vindate Purusho Mushmad Yadyadichat Yasatparam Madgita Gitat Supritach Tresam Ekavallabhat Vindate Purusho Mushmad Yadyadichat Yasatparam Madgita Gitat Supritach Tresam Ekavallabhat Vindate Purusho Mushmad Yadyadichat Yasatparam Madgita Gitat Supritach Tresam Ekavallabhat Vindate Purusho Mushmad Yadyadichat Yasatparam Madgita Gitat Supritach Tresam Ekavallabhat Oh, go ahead, Prabhu. Sorry. Vindate Purusho Mushmad Yadyadichat Yasatparam Madgita Gitat Supritach Tresam Ekavallabhat. Thank you. Vindate achieves. Purushaha, a devotee. A mushmat, from the personality of Godhead. Yat yat, that which. Ichchati, desires. Asatparam, being fixed. Mat Gita, sung by me. Gitat, by the song. Supritat, from the Lord who is very pleased. Shreyasam, of all benediction. Eka, one. Vallabhat, from the dearmost. Okay, translation. So this is Lord Shiva continuing to glorify his song to the Prachetas. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is the dearmost objective of all auspicious benedictions. A human being who sings this song, sung by me, can please the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Such a devotee, being fixed in the Lord's devotional service, can acquire whatever he wants from the Supreme Lord. Purport. As stated in the Bhagavad Gita 6.22, Yang labdva chapadang labham manyate nadikam tataha. If one can attain the favor of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he has nothing to aspire for, nor does he desire any other gain. When Dhruva Maharaj became perfect by austerity and saw the Supreme Personality of Godhead face to face, he was offered any kind of benediction he wanted. However, Dhruva replied that he did not want anything, for he was perfectly satisfied with the benediction of seeing the Lord. Except for the service of the Supreme Lord, whatever we want is called illusion, maya. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, Jivera Sorupoy Krishnera Nityadas. CC Majid 2108. Every living entity is an eternal servant of the Lord. Therefore, when one engages in the service of the Lord, he realizes the highest perfection of life. A faithful servant can fulfill any desire by the grace of the Master, and one who engages in the transcendental loving service of the Lord has nothing to aspire for separately. All his desires are fulfilled simply by engaging constantly in the Lord's loving service. Lord Shiva shows us that any devotee can be successful simply by chanting the prayers which he has recited. Om Jnana Timarandasya Jnanandana Shalakaya Chakshu Unmilatam Mena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. I was born in the darkest of ignorance, but my spiritual master Srila Prabhupada opened my eyes with the torchlight of knowledge. I offer my humble obeisances unto him and to all members of Sri Parampara. Krishna consciousness. It's a process of transforming one's desire. Transforming meaning purifying. The living entity by nature, or in its original form, as Prabhupada so nicely quotes in his purport, Jivera Swarupoi Hoi Krishnera Nityadas, which means that the Swarup of the Jiva, Swarup means the original form and the original nature of the living, of every living entity, every Jiva, is to be a servant of Krishna eternally. Not only that, but Krishnera Tatasta Shakti Beda Bed Prakash. That's the second half of the verse. It's important to understand it. That's also part of our Swarup. And that means that we are by nature the Tatasta Shakti, meaning that we're in the margin between the spiritual and the material energies. We have the ability, unfortunate ability, tendency, to also be immersed in the external energy. By nature, we're part of the internal energy. That's where we belong. But because we have this minute independence that's been given us to Krishna, otherwise there'd be no question of love. Therefore, many of us, such as we here in this material world, have turned away from Krishna and we've taken shelter of the external energy. And that we've been suffering ever since in our mistaken desire to enjoy separately from Krishna. So the whole thing is the question of desire. When we read the famous, should be famous, the ladder from faith to love, Adar Shraddha Tadaksadu Sangha the Bhajana Kriya. This is quoted in the purport, at least one purport in the Bhagavad Gita. It's near the beginning of the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. And Rupa Goswami, he gives a progression there for what the devotee, the bhakta, should experience as he traverses the path of prema bhakti. So, it begins with this faith, preliminary faith, interest, probably sometimes disguised respect, that brings you into the association of devotees. Someone gets a book, they see something online, they have a friend, or somehow or other they get curious, and they come to the temple, or they come to the lounge, or they come to some gathering. You know, maybe they just pass by that kirtan party we have on Saturday. We're still doing that? In temporary. Okay, everything's suspended now. But when we go out, someone is a little interested, rather than just walking by and concentrating onto the bar that they're going to. They stop and listen, you know. That's a little bit of Shraddha. They get some influence there, which goes deep inside the heart. It may not be anything more than that whole life, but at least that's a beginning. But when one becomes more serious, then he wants to have association of devotees. Sadhu Sangha. Now, who a sadhu is, we won't get into details, a nice sadhu sangashtaka in the Bhagavatam 3:25, 20 through 27. You can study it. And Kapila Muni, he describes the qualities of the real sadhu, tatikshava karunika suridaksava dehinam, very tolerant, very merciful, friendly to every living entity, and very peaceful and abides by the Shastra. Srila Prabhupada would give the sutra version of that from the Bhagavad Gita, bhajate mam ananyabhak. Krishna says in the famous verse, api chet suraracharo bhajate mam ananyabhak. Even if one performs some abominable activity, if he's steady, is continually serving me, then he should be regarded as a sadhu, and quickly the impurities will stop like that. So, if someone has some inclination to associate with actual sadhus, genuine devotees of the Lord, that's the greatest fortune in their life. Because by that association, their desire to practice bhajan awakens. I like these devotees, they're a very interesting philosophy. Okay, why don't you try this chanting? And bring out the chanting beads. You know, okay, how do you, and before long they're chanting, or they're chanting in kirtan. Somehow or other they begin the bhajan. And if one proceeds with that, then the purification of the heart is taking place, and then eventually one wants to become a really serious devotee and take initiation. And that's very important because that establishes one's connection with the parampara. One becomes more empowered and determined to advance in devotional service. And as Rupa Goswami says, his adau is adau gurvashriya. That's another adau, beginning with taking shelter of a guru. So during this period, what's going on is our desires are being purified. Instead of desiring some sense gratification, gross or subtle, emphasis on the gross, rather we say, well, no, that's not permitted. I want to advance here, so I'm going to give up that desire. I'll restrain it, and I'll rather cultivate the chanting and desire to learn about Krishna consciousness, do service, whatever. In other words, you're sublimating a desire, and that's what the process entails. And as we go on, these anartas, which are been covering our hearts since time immemorial, headed by lust, anger, greed, illusion, all these different things, modes of nature, they're becoming purified, meaning that ones that are completely out of bounds are giving up entirely, and those that can be dovetailed, we dovetail them, and they become sublimated. And as one goes on with the anarta nivritti, then your faith deepens and deepens till it comes to the point of nishta, which is, Lord Chaitanya defined it, Shadha Shabde Vishwas Kore Sudadhanaschoy Krishna Bhakti Kore Sarva Karma Krita Hoy. That very firm, unshakable conviction that just by practicing Krishna consciousness, the activities in Krishna consciousness, which of course include things necessary for maintaining the body and soul together, that's within the realm of Krishna consciousness. All my aspirations will be fulfilled. I don't have to do anything else. And so there's been an evolution of desire. Rather than desire all varieties of sense gratification, aspirations, gross and subtle, one now desires to advance in devotional service. And you're desiring more and more to hear about Krishna, serve Krishna, think about Krishna like that. And that desire then becomes ruchi. Ruchi means that's where your taste is. If you want to do this service, you want to chant, you want to see the deities, you want to help others to become Krishna conscious by distributing books, whatever. That's really what you want to do, which is a very healthy form of the heart. And so that eventually matures into a real attraction for Krishna, ecstatic experiences, bhava, and then prema. So the whole thing is an evolution of desire. And Prabhupada refers to Dhruva Maharaj, which is a great example in the fourth canto. I understand Lord Chaitanya left to hear this pastime. And so Dhruva was way back at the Satya Yuga, near the beginning of this universe. I think it was in the first millennium, wasn't it? The first Manu. Because, Swayambhuva Manu's, one of his sons was Uttanapada, the other was Priyavrata. And so Uttanapada's son, one of his sons, was Dhruva. He had at least 2 wives, and they each had sons. Dhruva was the eldest. So he's just a boy, 5 years old, and his father's playing with his stepbrother, half-brother. What was his name again? Uttama, thank you. So he's got him on his lap. The scene is in the palace there, living quarters. And the stepmother is there, his favorite wife, Suruchi. The names are very important. One is Suruchi, one is Suniti. Does anyone remember what those names mean? Suruchi, very beautiful. We would say hot in this day. And the other one is Suniti, very virtuous. So the virtuous one was not so favored anymore. And she was living in a separate... So Suruchi was there, and her son, Uttama, was playing on the lap of King Uttanapada. And Dhruva wanted to get on the lap also. And she said, no, you can't get you can't be on his lap until you take birth from my womb. You have to go get the mercy of God. She mentioned something like that, right? So Dhruva was, what do they say, cut to the quick. You ever heard that? It really struck him. He's a Kshatriya. So he goes off to his mother, says, Mom, here's what happened. So what can I do? Suruchi is his favorite wife now, but she gave you good advice. You have to get the mercy of God. He can help you. And so Prabhupada adds, I don't think it's in the Bhagavatam. So where's God? He says, well, I have heard that the sages go to the forest to find him. He heads out to the forest. So he's ready to go, 5 years old, out, all alone. So who comes along? Who remembers? Narada Muni. So Narada Muni always comes at just the right spot, for each candidate. And the first he tests him. He says, "You're too young. I can teach you all about proper yoga." You can do this, but just come back later, grow up with us. And Dhruva says, no, thank you very much, O Master, but if you're not going to help me, I'm going out anyway. So in order, seeing his determination, he gave him a process of yoga, meditation, infused completely with bhakti, right? So first he taught him rudiments of deity worship. How are you going to do deity worship out in the forest? Well, there's a way of doing it. You can make a little murti from the mud, in the river. And he's going to Mahaban and Vrindavan. So, and then you can worship that at the end of the day, wash it away, and then make another one the next day. So he's got that, and of course he's got the mantra. Let's chant the mantra together. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. We're going to get that mood down. We'll get it down later. So he's chanting the mantra and meditating on the Lord in the heart. And then there's this graduated system of austerities, which are like jaw-dropping, He began by eating the fruits that drop from the tree, then he stopped eating the fruits, eating the leaves. Gradually he's just the bark, and then just breathing. And he's slowing down his breathing. And he probably described it's like a train. If you're on a train, you're moving as fast as the train. You're going that fast. So Dhruva was like the train. He had entrained, which is a word, the entire universal breathing. And so the demigods were feeling short of breath. So they went to Vishnu and pleaded for him to do something. So this is after only 6 months. He's meditating on his mantra, the Lord in the heart, doing his deity worship. He's doing bhakti. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So Vishnu comes down on Garuda. He's meditating. Vishnu comes down. You can't see him, and his heart opens his eyes, and there he is in front of him. And describing the ecstasies he felt, he was like licking him with his tongue and swallowing him, and all the senses are like devouring Vishnu. And again and again he bows down, and he wants to offer prayers, but just like Nrsingadev, he's thinking, how can I offer prayers? I haven't studied Sanskrit. I'm only 5 years old. So he gets touched this time by the conch. He's holding the 4 symbols of conch, and he offers these beautiful prayers. And there's one that I'll share with you from the Bhagavatam, but the most famous one, the Prabhupada made famous, is not in the Bhagavatam. It's given in the Hari Bhakti Sudhodaya, which is the awakening of the nectar of Hari Bhakti. That's what that means. Various prayers and shlokas. I don't know who collected them. So this is the one Prabhupada would always quote, and that's the one he refers to here. How his desire was transformed from material to spiritual. Because he wanted a kingdom greater than Brahma's, actually. It's like a child's, I just want my father's kingdom. I'll show my stepmother I want it greater, So that was his original desire. But then he says, Stana bilashi tapasi stitoham tvam praptavan devamanindra guhyam kacham bichinvan abhidivyaratnam swamin kratartos mivadang dayache. So he says, my dear Lord, Stana bilashi, wanting a position, longing for a position greater than my great-great-grandfather's, who was Brahma. Tapasi stito, I was situated in strong penance. Tapasi, tapasat. But now I've gotten you. You've come, I see you perfectly before me. Tvam praptavan devamunindra guyam, who are hidden away even from the leading devas. Even the demigods can't get this vision of you. So now I realize that kingdom I wanted was like broken glass. Kacham bachindvan, I was searching for broken glass. And I've attained the divine jewel of your darshan, abhidivyaratnam. And therefore, Swamana, my dear Lord, kritatos mivadang niyache, I'm not begging for any other benediction. Because as said here in the verse, the Lord himself is the dearmost object of all auspicious benedictions. In other words, if you get the benediction of his service or his darshan, you don't want anything else. And there's many verses in the Bhagavatam like that, describing it. So that's, now in the context of this prayer, this is another palashruti. The palashruti means a verse describing the fruit of uttering a prayer, an ashtaka or something like that. So this verse, I counted them yesterday, I think it's 36 verses or 30, like something like that in this prayer. So, but we've heard so many verses here. You can get whatever you want from the Supreme Lord. So now let's see some examples of prayers of how we should want it. We should learn how to pray from studying the Shastra. So Lord Chaitanya has given us several prayers in his Shikshastika. And the first of those prayers is Nadanam. All together now. Nadanam, nadanam, nasundarim, kavitam va jagadish kamaye, mama janmani janmanishware, bhavata bhaktidahaitu kitvahi. Very instructive. So first he's saying what he doesn't want, which people usually pray for. They pray to the demigods for wealth, you know. It may not be, I want $10 billion, but, you know, just let me pray, you know, pay my rent, you know. So for what, Nadanam or Jana. One answer, let me become a king, you know, so I have so many followers. Let me get a beautiful wife, Sundarim. Kavitam can mean different things. It can also mean great education, knowledge. He says, I don't want nadanam. He's repeating the na. Nadanam, nasundarim, kavitam va. Jagadisha kame. Now, he addresses him as Jagadish, meaning that you recognize he can give whatever he wants. Yeah, I can get anything because he's the Lord of the universe. But even though he could give me all the wealth in the universe or anything, I'm not praying for that. I'm not praying for any of that. Kavitang va jagadisha kamaye, I don't want that. Or rather, mama janmani janmanishwara. As soon as you say janmani, it means I don't want liberation either. If you're going to take birth again and again. So that's, you know, someone who's intelligent, some materialist who's intelligent will pray for liberation, which is also a material goal ultimately. It means the cessation of all suffering. So he's not praying for that. Janmani Ishware, oh my Lord, bhavatad bhaktir ahoitu kitvahi. I simply want unmotivated devotional service for you, birth after birth. This ahoitaki bhakti, which really you should understand. That's a central tenet of our philosophy here, given by Rupa Goswami, Anyabhilashita shunyam. This is probably the foundation of everything, Gaudiya Vaishnava philosophy. So, but that's okay. I want you, but now more specifically, you know, what I want. He's addressed as Jagadish. Well, we don't chant in japa to Jagadish. We worship Jagannath, you know, like that. We understand, but we're interested in Krishna, in Vrindavan, and therefore the next verse gives us more specific prayer. All together. Ainannatanuja kinkaram paditang mam vishamem bhavam bodo and kripayata vapada pankaja stetadhuli sadushang bachindaya. Your servant for eternity, I lost my true identity and fell into this horrid sea of birth and death. O Lord, O Nanda's son, please hear my plea. By your sweet grace, consider me a speck of dust upon your lotus feet forevermore. So, Nanda Tanuja. Nanda Tanuja. It can be either one, you know. You give it. And place me as an atom at your lotus feet. Yeah, thank you. So that's a prayer for pure devotion. You know, to be the atom of Krishna's lotus means to be situated in serving his lotus feet eternally. That's what you want. Now it's interesting. He goes on. The next prayer is for perfection in your bhakti. Practically, Nayanangaladashudarya. You know, when will all these tears flowing from my eyes, my voice choked with bliss, the hair upon my body standing up in happiness, when will all these signs of rapture decorate my limbs as I chant your holy name? The monarch of all hymns. So this is a prayer for protection and perfection in our devotional service. And it's important to utter those kind of prayers because it's easy to kind of get to a position of kind of just maintenance rather than pushing forward in your devotion and increasing and becoming more and more purified. So we're encouraged to make that our aspiration for perfection and pray for that. Rupa Goswami has written an ashtaka called the Namashtaka. And in that Namashtaka, there's two prayers praying for more and more taste and ruchi for the holy name. You know, I was at some japa retreats. I got a chance to attend several of those in the aughts, 3 or 4 of them. And there's one session, one day at the end, where you chant 64 rounds. You know, there's like a whole morning dedicated to just chanting. So I'm chanting, and then I suddenly realized you can pray to the holy name, through the holy name, as you're chanting, because it's Krishna, right? We know it's Krishna. You can pray to Krishna, you know, what do you want, you know?
So first thing we want, I want to become completely absorbed. Let my mind not be distracted, But really you want more and more taste. More and more. Let me relish His holy name, so that's all I want in my life. I never want to stop, like Tunde Tanda Banidati. So he has one verse there, and this is common, where you give a whole sample of verses, of names of Krishna, and then a prayer at the end. So he says, Agadamana Yashoda Nandano Nandasunu Kamalanayana Gopi Chandra Vrindavanendra Pranata Karuna Krishna Vityaneka Swarupe Chai Mamanataruchai Vardatam Namadeya. Now we know this word Vardatam. We should know it. Govardhana. No one says Govardhana, but that's how it is. Govardhan. Govardhana means that mountain which nourishes the cows, So Vardhata, he's saying here, you have many different kinds of names. Let's see if you can suss out what each one means. Agadamana, who is Aga? Yeah, killer of Agasa. Yashoda Nandana, Nandasuna, those are easy. Son of Yashoda, son of Nanda. Kamalanayana, lotus-eyed one. Kamalanayana. Gopi Chandra, moon, that causes the gopi's eyes to, come up wide, open wide. Vrindavanendra. Vrindavana Indra. No. The Indra can just mean the master or the Lord, the master of Vrindavan. And then here's my favorite one. I was thinking maybe some mother could name her child is Pranata Karuna. Now Karuna, we know, is mercy, compassion. Pranata means like pranam, those who surrender to you, who are most merciful to those who surrender to you. Pranata Karuna, and of course Krishna. Aneka Surupa, you have unlimited names, Aneka, not just one. Tvai Mamadadachai Vardatam Namadeha. Oh holy name, it's a prayer to the holy name, not to Krishna the form, but the name. Oh holy name, please increase my desire for you more and more, nourish my taste for you more and more. And then at the end, the last one is also a prayer. Narada vino jivana sudhominiya samadhi pura tram Krishna nama kamam spudame vasane vasena sada. Madhuri Pura Das? Yeah, that's where his name comes from, this verse. Madhuri Pura, the flood of sweetness. So he's saying, oh holy name, Narada vino jivana, you're the very life and soul of Narada's Veena. In other words, he's inspired to chant you as he plays that Veena. Sudhormi Niryasa, you're the essence of waves of nectar. Sudhormi Niryasa, the Niryasa concentrated. Madhuri Pura, a flood of sweetness, a flood of concentrated sweetness, which is the essence of nectar. Something like that. Dham Krishna Nama Kamam, oh holy name, if you please. This word kamam, not kamam, but kamam can mean if you like. Kamam. Spurame vasane vasena sada. Please always let my tongue have a great eagerness to taste your sweetness more and more. So these are the prayers of the great devotees, and you'll find in this prayer, the one that I remember most is with Padasha Dadpanma Palacha Rochisha. And I told the story how I was proofreading this, back in this book, and I come across this prayer. This is the greatest prayer, and then the end of this, wow, I got to memorize it. So I memorized 4 or 5 verses. Just a new guy, and but I was attracted. Then there was one near the end where he said, "Padashadad Padma Palacha Rochisha Nakad Dubia Nonta Magang Badhunvata," that the nails on your lotus feet, their feet which are like the lotuses that grow in the Sharad season, Padma Palacha Rochisha, you've got lotus feet, and the petals are the toes, you see, and on those petals you got the nails, and this effulgence coming from the nails is destroying all the ignorance and all of the sin in the heart of the meditating devotee. That's in Kapila Dev's also. So please reveal to me that form which your devotees are most eager to see. Oh, you who are the original guru, the guru of everybody, something like that, So that's part of this prayer, and the result. What Lord Shiva is saying here is the result of this prayer is that you get the favor of Krishna, and He can give you whatever you want. Now, by chanting this prayer, your desires should be purified, so you're not asking for a kingdom or anything like that, but you're asking for some of the subject we've just been discussing. Now, one other interesting parallel here is Prahlad Maharaj. Now, Prahlad was from, within the womb. He's a pure devotee. He's not about to pray for anything material. But after the whole thing is over, and he's offered all these wonderful prayers to Lord Nrsingadev, none of which he asked for anything material, then Nrsingadev offers him whatever he wants. This is in the 9th chapter, 7th canto. And then Prahlad says, "My dear Lord, why are you tempting me? I was born in a demon's family, I have these demonic tendencies," he's saying. "Don't tempt me. I'm not a Vanik. I'm not doing business with you." Vanik is a businessman. So I just want to be your servant. But if you want to give me a benediction, here's the benediction. There's actually 2 that he asked for. I think the first one is Yadi dasasi me kamam varang tvang vadadarshapa kamanam ridyasaroham bhavadastu vanevaram. So a vara. Now vara means the best. Giri varadhari. We sing every morning, right, in class. Which means the best of hills. You are the lifter of the best of hills, Govardhan. So, but also, vara can also mean a benediction. So Krishna is known as Varadeshwara, the Lord of the givers of benedictions. That's one of his names. So here he says, if you want to give me a benediction, O best of the benedictors, then here's my request, that material desires will never take root in my heart. Kamanam asamroham bhavadastu vanevaram. That will be the best benediction you give me. And he also asked that his father will be delivered and forgiven, It was like the biggest demons. And Nrsingadev assures him that not only will he be delivered, but so many, how many? 20, many, many generations before and many after. And then after we get Banasura and we get Bali. Of course, Bali was a great devotee, but even Banasura, who's an Asura, he is not killed when he did battle with Krishna. He just had a little clipping job done on his arms. He had 1,000 arms. He was so arrogant, he even got the benediction from Lord Shiva, because he used those 1,000 arms to play so many drums. I don't know, so 500 drums, and perfectly in time to, Shiva likes to dance. So Shiva, or maybe he was playing with his 2 arms and he gave them. Anyway, he had all these arms. And then, but what to do with them? He said, the demon, he wants to fight. There's nobody worthy to fight, so, he's beating the mountains, So Shiva chastised him and said, okay, you'll get somebody ready to fight with you soon enough, So Banasura, fool that he is, he's very happy about that. I won't go into the whole story about his daughter had a whole affair with Aniruddha, but that precipitated it. There was a battle, and Shiva ends up fighting with Vishnu. Their weapons fight together. It's a long story. And then finally Banasura comes forward, and he wants to fight, and Krishna clips off 998 arms, I believe, leaving him with 2, maybe 4, I forget. But he didn't kill him because he's a descendant of Prahlad. So that is the benediction. So that's the, so a faithful servant can fulfill any desire, in other words, have any of his desires fulfilled by the grace of the Master, Krishna. But one who engages in transcendental loving service of the Lord has nothing to aspire for separately. So the Lord's darshan, his service, is so fulfilling that that's what Prabhupada really is referring to here. Yam labdva chapalam labha manyate nadikamtata. He would quote this often. That there's this wonderful section in that 6th chapter describing the benefits of samadhi for the devotee. And, you feel the darshan of the Lord, and you enjoy your self, your real self, through transcendental senses. And this is, once achieving that, you feel there's nothing greater to achieve. And all your miseries are eradicated, So that benediction, that benefit is there in Bhakti Yoga as well. Besides this meditative Bhakti Yoga, there's also like that. But it's much more, ecstatic and jubilant to be able to engage in pastimes with the Lord, to enter into Krishna's pastimes, which is the final goal of the devotees. And in the meanwhile, to give as many people this opportunity to experience the highest pleasure and reduce their miseries and suffering down to nil. This is ultimately, what could be greater welfare work than that? It's the best benediction. And it's most pleasing to Krishna. So that's our meditation on this wonderful prayer. Just reading these benediction verses, I'm getting interested in at least chanting it every day. Maybe not memorizing, but chanting some of these prayers every day. It's such a ecstatic description. There's no, as far as I can recall, within the whole Bhagavatam, there's no, and we see these a lot. We say anyone who reads this pastime daily will get such and such benefit. This is called Palashruti. But I've never seen anything quite like all of these descriptions by Lord Shiva. Okay, I'll read the verse again. Any questions, comments? The Supreme Personality of Godhead is the dearmost objective of all auspicious benedictions. A human being who sings this song, sung by me, can please the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Such a devotee, being fixed in the Lord's devotional service, can acquire whatever he wants from the Supreme Lord. Any questions? Any comments? Okay. Then I'm going to regale you with one or two slokas. We have a minute or two. If it's okay, Yamarash. Okay. So, let's see if I have a few prayers. Yes, we have prayers. This is, after all, a prayerful song. Pujanga de Pachandakas Buddha Kanda Chudankode Nirankasha Driganshada Brahmina Buddha Bringa Brahme Patangi Duhitastati Vanakuti de Kedi Priye Padas Buddha to Me Mahus Try Mukunda Shuddharati. You pick up what the prayer is? What is Shuddharati? Anyone can guess? Shuddha means? And Rati means? Love. Yes, attachment. So he's just praying for love. So he's first describing, you wear the best of crests, a crown of perfect peacock plumes. Your dancing glances stun the bees meandering midst the blooms. You relish love play in a cottage by Kalindi's shore. O Krishna, may pure love for you be mine forevermore. Similar prayer I say daily when we see Radha and Krishna. Pashupala Varenyanandana Vadametang Maharati He Yuvam Bhavatu Panayo Bhave Bhave Bhavato Deva Padam Bhujeshume. O Radha Krishna, children of the best of cowherd men, this single boon I beg from you again and yet again. And all the countless births my endless sins will make me meet. Let all my love flow toward your luscious, lustrous lotus feet. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Hari Hari Bol.